Why am I hearing Eminem all of a sudden?
I got that Venom.
Is the loneliest number that you ever do?
To everyone that love these movies, my friend Godzilla on a skateboard, also known as Kaiju, Dr. Gumbalin, and VTuber Beelzebella. All three of these people have the one thing in common, and they love the Venom movies. They say it was everything they ever wanted in a Venom movie, and I can tell because all three of these people are huge Venom fans. Am I a Venom fan? Of course I am. I love Venom. I love the comics. I love the Spider-Man animated TV series when I grew up in the 90s. And I love the story of Venom in that cartoon and how it was handled. I love Black Suit Spider-Man. I loved Carnage. That's probably like my favorite Venom villain character is Carnage. Never give a shit about Riot. I did enjoy those. I did enjoy the Maximum Carnage comic book when I was young. I really wanted to see that brought into the big screen properly, if they ever did. But it turns out we will never get that unless, well, when I get into spoilers, maybe it would be changed differently. Who knows? Let me tell you this backstory of what I felt about previous Venom portrayals in movies. Nice. I never liked Topher Grace as Venom. I hated it. Not only that, Venom was a bit scrawny and skinny, but I did like the look of that suit, honestly. I mean, maybe it's because I liked it because it was both CGI and practical effects, and the symbiote noise that it made was pretty cool as well. Oh, I mean, yeah, the emo Peter Parker stuff is terrible and bad, but then again, ever since that shit's been memed constantly, I have an appreciation of Spider-Man 3 as more of a humorous troll movie. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Spider-Man 3 is a troll film. This was like Sam Raimi telling Sony to fuck off and say, okay, you want Venom? I'll fucking give you Venom. Because Sam Raimi, big shock. Sam Raimi, he never liked the Venom comics. He didn't like the character Venom. He never wanted to do Venom. He was not that interested in doing a Venom versus Spider-Man movie. He was more interested in doing other villains like the Lizard or Sandman or the Hobgoblin that James Franco becomes in the movie after finding out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, his best friend. And he's like, you know what? I will avenge my father's death. And you can tell there was a movie he already had in the works that would have been fleshed out better, that would have been a better story. And to be fair, I would have loved to see what his direction was to seeing what Spider-Man 3 could have been without Venom. And we never got that because Sony said Venom's a popular character, put him in the movie. And everyone immediately hated it. And Sam Raimi was making this movie out of probably hatred and spite, wondering, well, shit, fine. I will go and make a Venom movie for you, but I'm going to make this a terrible movie that there is no way in hell you can make sequels for this film. And that technically was true, honestly. Hey, I mean, I did like the look of the symbiote. I did like the look of the suit, but I really wish that suit was more muscular and more swole, like we got now with this Venom movie that has no Spider-Man whatsoever, and it exists in its own universe. And I didn't like it. I never liked the film. I thought it was very poorly made, honestly. I thought the action was choppy. I thought it felt like a lot of scenes were cut from this movie that make the film very uneven and not focused well. Well, even that chase scene I saw in the movie when they were driving the motorcycle, I thought that was a very choppy action scene that felt like it was inconsistent, and you couldn't even tell what the hell was going on in that chase scene. I mean, seriously, you can never tell who was winning, who was chasing who, and for all that matter, what was going on. It just became constant noise and nothing. At least I could follow Michael Bay's Six Undergrounds beginning long ass chasing better than that. And that's yikes, that's an insult for Venom. I really did thought the movie was like poorly made. It wasn't made well. And I don't know if that's the director's fault or the studio's fault or whatever happened. Or maybe this movie was originally going to be rated R, but they sadly never did get to that point. Then again, that director has said that Venom doesn't need to be rated R because he thinks that you can get away with a lot of things in a PG-13 movie. You could, if it was the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, if it was that PG-13, then yeah, you could have gotten away with a lot of shit in those days. But here in modern day, in the 2020s and 2010s, you can't get away with that shit anymore. I mean, The Dark Knight could, with how gruesome and violent it was, with what they got away with. But here, I I don't think anything was gory or brutal about the first Venom movie. It was so tamed for what it was. I wanted the blood. I wanted the violence. I wanted the gore. Venom could have benefited to being a rated R movie, a total gore fest, and it would have been fucking awesome. And it wasn't. And you know what? Do I like the movie now? I mean, sure, the first Venom movie, I do have a bit of a soft spot for it. It can be fun at times. You'll constantly hear me blasting Eminem's Venom song and also Run the Jewels' Let's Go as well, which Let's Go is by far the better Venom song in that film. But I still feel like the movie has problems. You don't have much time to develop or talk about our villain. The villain is very lame in this movie, including, I will say this, Riot is a bad villain. You don't know much about him. All you know is he possessed an Asian woman. He possessed a little girl, which I really wish I wanted to see how that shit went down when he possessed the little girl, because he probably did some fucked up shit on the plane and killed a bunch of people probably when he was flying to San Francisco to find Venom. I'm serious. That shit could have been gone so awful so fast. I just thought it wasn't that good. The movie just felt blah to me. I did like the chemistry between Venom and Eddie Brock. I did like that. It was interesting. Eddie Brock wasn't like the Eddie Brock from the comics, obviously, but I did like his character. He still was a reporter. He still was a journalist. And he still was, actually pretty good as the character. Tom Hardy does bring a lot to the role that was pretty interesting. And I think his kid, his son, is a huge fan of the Venom comics, and he has been getting pointers from his son if he's portraying the character right and what he has to do to be a better Venom, be a better Eddie Brock. And I think he has improved quite a lot in the sequel. Let There Be Carnage, honestly, I think it's time you found out, like, I started to embrace the tone from the last movie. I still don't think the first movie's good. No, no, no. But going into this film, knowing what the tone is going to be, knowing that it's not going to change differently and it's just going to keep the same tone because it has to be consistent with it, I say, yeah, you know what? Fine. I know where I'm walking into. And to be fair, it actually is pretty good, pretty solid, actually. Not gonna lie. I'm not even kidding. The beginning part of this movie is actually pretty good stuff, actually. Especially seeing Cletus Cassidy's backstory that he had like a girlfriend that he was in love with named Shriek, played by Naomi Harris, which Naomi Harris looks like how she looked in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and at World's End. She just looks like Tia Dalma. I don't know if it's makeup or something or how she changes her hair, but when I see Naomi Harris do that crazed look in her face, it's like you just switched on Tia Dalma from freaking Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's it. It's like her face changes when she makes that manic look. And I just recently saw her in No Time to Die as Moneypenny, and she just looks normal. I swear she has a gift from looking like, oh, look, it's innocent Secretary Moneypenny to evil looking psychopath Shriek in this film. I really did enjoy the beginning part of this movie. I will say it does start off a bit too fast paced. Like things go very top speed real quick in this film. Like they didn't want to waste any time uh trying to get to Carnage real quick. And yeah, they really wanted to get to the Carnage stuff real quick in this movie. And I do appreciate that. I did like a lot of the Carnage and Cletus Cassidy scenes in this film, especially when he sends a letter to Eddie Brock and you see this like Tim Burton-esque kind of style art of drawings of him in his childhood killing his family and being sent off to a mental ward somewhere. And I really did love that. It kind of had that reminiscence. It kind of reminded me when I saw little young Cletus Cassidy in that art form. It kind of reminded me of Scary Godmother. He kind of looked like Jimmy for a little bit. Not gonna lie. He really did. I really did like some of that visual in that movie, especially seeing Eddie read Cletus's letter and talking about his past, his history, and also a lot of good character development between the two of Cletus and Eddie, because it shows that Eddie sucks as a journalist when you find out, when you see that Venom is better at detective work and learning stuff better than Eddie is. And also this new development finding out, oh yeah, Venom has a good perfect memory. He can remember all the shit that was on Cletus Cassidy's walls in his prison cell. No, which I found pretty cool and interesting that Venom was a better reporter or better at detective work than Eddie was. And then you find out when Cletus is like mad at the end of the movie, like you're a bad journalist because you only talked about one side of the story. And you gotta feel bad for Cletus Cassidy in this film because he was telling his story to Eddie about like, hey, this is why I was a psychopathic killer. Hey, this is why this happened to me, is because I was abused in my household. I started off as a dead baby until I got revived. He talked about a lot of things about his past that Eddie didn't pay attention to, and you kind of do feel bad for him. But it still doesn't excuse him for being a psychopathic killer and murdering people, even though his childhood was very terrible. Well, am I saying this Cletus Cassidy is accurate to comic books? In a sense, kinda. I say Woody Harrelson does play the role pretty well. He does play the role as a psychopathic killer, rather great in this film. Even him eating all of his victims, even trying to kill, like, trying to drink like Eddie's blood. I'm laughing because keep in mind, Woody Harrelson is either vegan or vegetarian, by the way. He doesn't eat meat, yet he sells that performance that he has probably eaten someone before. And it's hilarious. But it's also pretty well made as a character, that he actually did inhibit the role pretty well. I did like him as Cletus Cassidy. He played that psychopath great. But I think that's mainly because I saw him play a psychopath before that was in love with someone in Natural Born Killers, when he was there with what's her name from in the movie From Dusk Till Dawn with George Clooney. I can't remember her name for the life of me. I'm sorry. But it was very similar to that. Like, of course, he played a killer and criminal before. I mean, I don't think it's not that hard for him to be that type of character. I did like his performance. I wish there was more to him, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying like we don't know him as a character at all in this movie. No, we have a clear view of it. We already find out his backstory very early on in this movie, and we know he's done some messed up shit. But it is, I wish that there was more. Like, this movie doesn't stop. Like, we don't get time to breathe with this character. With Eddie and Venom, we do get time to breathe with them because we're shown at a point in their life they are going through a horrible relationship together. And you can see that their friendship is being destroyed, it's broken, and they become separate for a while. It does give you time to breathe and see that they do totally need each other. And you see how broken and falling apart they are in this movie. And I did like that. I did love the chemistry and relationship building between these two characters and starting to learn things like letting go of someone that is totally not interested in you anymore, or trying to go and agree and disagree on things, or actually admitting that they were wrong at least and know that, yeah, you're right. I would have been nothing without you. And I did like that. I love that the relationship was built very well in this movie. I did enjoy that. But as much as I say praise, especially for the action, actually, yeah, the action in this movie is really good. I love the fight scenes in this movie between Venom and Carnage. I love the CGI more in this film. I think the CGI is 100 times better in this film. Not only that, I think this movie looks better than the first film. Not gonna lie. I mean, the visuals are stunning. It's beautiful to look at. I did love that church scene where we see the wedding taking place and you see like these bright lights and all the cathedral shining, and also like these like bright lights beckoning down on the villain that make him more menacing. I love that. I really did enjoy a lot of things in this movie. And I think at this point, at not one point did I hate it for a lot of things. Because at first, with the first Venom movie, I hated it immediately for how choppy and poorly edited it was. I just didn't like the story. I felt it was boring and it wasn't that great. I mean, I did like a few things from it, but the movie felt very flat. I don't know. Maybe Andy Serkis did brought life in this Venom movie, and for good reason. And you know what? I actually am glad about it. I will say I do have my problems. And yes, it's because it's not rated R. Granted, Carnage has done some fucked up shit in this movie that I laughed at, but laughed at for a good in a good way, not in a bad way. I love the fact that it starts so romantic while Cletus and Shriek are like kissing while Carnage is murdering all these doctors and security officers while they are making out out, out, and it was like fucking hilarious but awesome. I loved that, especially them just joyriding in their car and then Shriek trying to blow the enemies away with her power of sound, even though it is a bad combination because symbiotes hate like loud noises and fire. Yeah, I did like that small detail that Carnage and Cletus aren't a perfect fit. I did like that little oh yeah, we got to solidify what makes Venom and Eddie work and how they can defeat Carnage. They find out, yeah, we're a perfect fit. We are fit. We can actually defeat him because we are connected. While fucking Carnage and Cletus cannot connect since one hates his girlfriend, the other doesn't. Listen, but I've been dragging this about problems, right? And why I didn't like it for not being rated R. I really did want more gory and violent scenes with Carnage. I'm sorry, it probably is me that I really did want that. And I don't know if there were scenes that were in the cutting room floor. I don't know if Andy Serkis actually did. Maybe it was originally going to be rated R because they have been holding off with the rating for so long in the trailers that you're starting to realize maybe they were debating on making it rated R or not. And maybe it was going to be rated R. Maybe we were going to get a Let There Be Carnage R-rated movie. Hell, maybe we'll get an unrated cut that we don't know about when it comes out on Blu-ray. And if there is, I'll be there to pick that up. Yes, but that is technically my problems. And not only that, it's its runtime. The runtime is very short, and I feel like we are going through too high a fast pace in this movie that at this point, there's no holds bar. As I said before, Cletus Cassidy's character doesn't get time to breathe. Like, it's always nonstop tension, and you don't get any small, moments of levity of learning more about this character. I mean, yes, there's his backstory about his family and why he killed them. And yeah, there is parts about in the film where he's in the prison or when he is with his love. There are a few parts of it, but not a lot. And I kind of wish we got more interaction between the two characters, and I kind of wish we got more out of Cletus Cassidy. I feel like I would have loved to see him go rampant around the city, because seeing him just taking down a random car in the freaking Golden Gate Bridge and saying, fuck that car, let's flip it over. And let's beat the shit out of this gas station employee and just curb stomp him to the ground until he's dead. That was awesome. I love that. Yeah. And seeing him take down this entire secret facility just to break out his girlfriend. A lot of good stuff. I did like that. I just wish there was more stuff. Just more things for him to do. Just more character development from him. Just more, at least, moments that we get from him. I mean, Woody Harrelson already does enough, but I feel like I wanted more of this villain. And sadly, we don't get more of this villain because, spoiler, Venom goes and eats his brains and then leaves him on the ground dead. And which really sucks. I really did wanted more of him. Hell, maybe we will get more of him. Maybe he'll get resurrected and he will be in Spider-Man No Way Home, and we probably will get a short fight scene between Carnage and Spider-Man and Venom, and it would be so cool. I don't know. Maybe that will happen. If that does happen, I would be fucking happy if that does happen. But it looks like No Way Home is already packed already, so yeah. I will say, yeah, I really wish it was a bit of a longer runtime for character development and a bit more, quieter moments, because this movie doesn't stop. It feels like a 90s and 2000s movie, being over the top, filled with humor and some campy moments, some silly moments, some good action. Overall, it's a very cheesy movie. But you know what? I'm glad Andy Serkis made it more, at least. I will say it's edited better. Like, I can actually follow through it better than the first movie. I say it's edited better. I say has a more consistent tone. I say that it does a better job with handling its characters well, especially the villains in the movie as well. But I do feel like the movie could have been better still. Like, it could have been better rated R. It could have had more time. Maybe it could have had a better rework of the script that would have flowed better. Like, I feel like we were brought into the movie too quick with that intro. Like, granted, the cool intro with Shriek and Cletus in 1996, awesome. But I feel like we needed more time to breathe in the intro, where they were trying to figure out about where did Cletus Cassidy hide these dead bodies, or what, or like the whole scene where Eddie and Anne are talking at dinner, and then he has to realize, oh right, it moved on, and I have to go and contemplate this and start to think about it if I'm really okay with this. And I feel like there could have been more of a slower burn for this movie. And yeah, I get it. You want to just get to the action. You just want to get to Carnage already. But I feel like the movie could have flown a bit better. And I don't know. I'm probably repeating myself on this. Especially, I feel like a few scenes could have been cut out. Well, one in particular, Venom being in that rave. I don't see the point of that rave. Yes, he is probably acting like a drunk alcoholic while all these people at this rave are probably tripping balls right now on acid and are probably drunk out of their minds, seeing Venom talk about like fuck Eddie Brock and then drops the mic. I honestly thought he was gonna rap in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Ever since I saw that gif of him dropping the mic, I kept thinking to myself, is he gonna rap? Is he gonna rap now? Are we rapping now? I thought he was. Honestly, I wouldn't have been mad if he did. Because you know what? It would feel naked if he didn't rap in this movie. But he didn't. And I'm kind of disappointed. Not gonna lie. Because if he did rap, I would have said, keep that scene in the movie. I love it. But the whole rave scene felt pointless, blah, and just like whatever. I mean, I get it. You're supposed to show them like they're doing bad without each other, but I don't know. I feel like you could have easily cut that and you wouldn't be missing anything. I mean, if you just cut to the scene where Venom goes to Mrs. Chen and he's like weak and he couldn't find a perfect host, I say that would have been fine. You would know that Venom is doing bad. But I say the movie did it good. I say I do enjoy this better than the first Venom, because at least with this one, I was walking in this movie thinking, you know what? I just need to enjoy the madness and face defeat and say, you know what? It's not like the comics. It kind of is, but not that much. But I'm going to embrace this movie. And I'm glad I did. I actually walked in and I actually came out of this movie pretty happy. I thought it was pretty good. And I know I still have problems with this. Yes, but I say it's better with character development for all the characters, side characters, and every character in this movie. I say I say it's better made also, because I feel like there was probably a ton of studio interference, or probably a bunch of like removed scenes that were so clearly obvious how many scenes were probably removed in the original cut of the first Venom movie that we probably won't see. Just like how we won't see Gareth Edwards' original cut of Rogue One, and how much reshoots and how much interference from Disney that movie got. But who knows? Maybe this will get an unrated version. Maybe there is a director's cut to Let There Be Carnage that we will probably get, and it will be more violent than the theatrical release. You know, kind of like the Wolverine Unleashed cut, where there was more violence, more blood, and actually a better structured story, because I did notice in the theatrical cut there were a few things that felt a bit off that were probably cut from the movie that would have benefited better if they kept it in the film. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But what do you guys think? I honestly give this movie a 7.7 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I have problems with it a bit, but you know, they're not that huge. But who knows? Anyway, what do you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And did you get spoiled before you saw this movie that Venom was gonna be in the MCU because of the whole multiverse happening? If he's not in No Way Home, I would be disappointed. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you, Wolfpack, in the next one. Ciao, darlings, and remember, we are Venom.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!